Yo guys, Crescent here. Welcome to my Magicka Templar build video. I just noticed I did a non-CP build for this patch for Magicka Templar, but I kind of missed out on the CP build, so this is the CP build that I'll be using. I will show you the non-CP version as well for this build, so there's just a small change, but nothing drastic. Yeah, the main reason why this build is called basic is because it's really basic, because the sets we'll be using are really basic Templar sets, but it's basic and it's good actually, so definitely could encourage you to use this set. Okay, now to the main component of the build. Okay, now let's start with the sets. Like I mentioned earlier, the sets are really basic because I just wanted a really basic Magicka Templar build for the CP campaign. So what I opted to use for the monster helm is Pirate Skeleton, mainly because I feel like nowadays I'm getting too much damage, especially from Night Blades and Stem Wardens as well. They hit really hard. So Pirate Skeleton is hands down the best defensive set you can use in this game. It's borderline broken because major protection is really powerful. So I'm using two-piece head and shoulders, light shoulder, medium head, both with tri-stat enchantment glyphs and both with impenetrable trait. So these will boost up our physical and spell resistance and give us major protection, which is about more or less a bit 19k physical and spell resistance, more or less. The second set we'll be using is a really basic set. A lot of Magicka Templars and a lot of Magicka DKs like to use this set because it's overall just a really powerful set. Innate Axiom, I don't know if I pronounced that correct or not, but whatever. Innate set, it's gonna give us Magicka stamina, spell crit, weapon crit, and about close to 400 weapon and spell damage. It's good because I can show you my skills. We are using a lot of spells, class skills like Jabs, Vampire's Bane, Purifying, your ultimate Crescent Sweep, and Unstable Core with Honor of the Dead as well. All this will get increased. The tooltip will get increased because it's a class ability. So what we are using is heavy body, light waist, light hands, light legs, and light feet. All the small pieces we are using maximum Magicka. The waist, the hands, and the feet. The body and the legs we'll be using tri-stat glyph. Everything we are using 7 impenetrable trait. So 5 light pieces to 1 heavy and 1 medium. Heavy on the body, medium on the head. So that is what I opted to go for. And we are using leech on the back bar. Leech 3 pieces of jewelry and sword and board on the back bar. As for the weapons, you want to use powered trait with weapon damage enchantment. And shield, you can use sturdy or you can use impant. I prefer to use sturdy, and with maximum Magicka glyph enchantment. As for the jewelry, if you don't have any transmutation stones, you don't need to change it to Trinion. I just make it Trinion because sometimes I want to use it on my Magicka sorcerer. So that's the main reason. If you don't have stones, leave it as what do you call that? Leave it as arcane trait. Yeah, sorry about that, arcane trait, and then you can just use tri-stat enchantment on your small pieces like your waist, your feet, your hands. You can just use tri-stat enchantment. That could work for sure. And what I'm using is 1 cost reduction, 1 Magicka recovery, and 1 spell damage. The only reason why I'm using infused trait on the spell damage is because it's a gold jewelry. I bought this from the vendor. So with gold jewelry, infused is the best in slot because it gives a lot of more spell damage. And as a Magicka Templar, you have minor and major sorcery, so you are gonna get very high spell damage in total compared to other Magicka classes. And on the front bar, I'm using the Master's Lightning Staff. Why I'm using Lightning Staff compared to Flame Staff is because I feel like we are doing more AoE damage compared to single target damage, and I prefer to have what do you call that, the concussion status effect compared to the burning status effect. If I'm using like a flame staff, I think Scoria would be better, but yeah, I opted to go for lightning staff because of the concussion status effect and the increase of damage of our AoE attacks like jabs and our ultimate. You want to use sharpen trait? I think sharpen trait is slightly better than, still better than learn. Though the main reason why I don't like Nern on Magicka weapons is because it gives less weapon damage compared to two-hand. Like, I can show you an example here. Let me check really quickly. Yeah, so this is a Battle Axe of Real Inheritance. It gives you 1.8k damage, and a normal sharpen will give you 1.57. So that is about 340 weapon damage increase. You compare that to a staff, a destruction staff. Destruction staff of Nernhorn gives you 1535. Without a normal one, a sharpened one, 1335. So there's only 300 increase of spell damage. That's why staffs are not as strong with Nern trait compared to weapons. That's why I can recommend you to use sharpen instead of Nern. But if you have Nern, it's fine. It's just a small damage increase. The main reason why I'm using sharpen as well is because it's not going to affect our back bar. Our healing is only going to be on our back bar with powered trait on our axe. That's why it's not going to affect it. That's why sharpen, in my opinion, is better. I'm not using double dot poison because we are not using scoria. I'm using shock damage enchantment to have a higher proc chance of the concussion status effect. So that is the set. This is only for CP build. I think for non-CP build, what I did is I will show you really quickly. Yeah, I think it's this. So what I use is I use a medium helm and heavy shoulders, bone pirate skeleton as well. I use leech, 3 pieces on the body and then 2 pieces on back bar. I'm using overwhelming jewelry, so I 5-piece my overwhelming on my body and jewelry. The traits are all impenetrable, it's the same. And I'm using arcane trait now, so I'm using tri-stat foot on this build, and then yeah, using master lightning staff as well. So instead of using the innate what you call it set, I'm using overwhelming for non-CP campaign. Okay, now back to CP. So this is my CP setup. What else? I'm gonna show you the tooltip. Just quickly zoom out. So put this, buff up really quickly. Actually need to use a potion. You can see here my weapon damage is 2.9k. You need to add 400 to that, so it's 3.3k weapon damage. Spell crit is 42%, is 43% extremely high. Max Magicka 33k. Health is about 24k more or less. Incineradil, stamina 14k, really good amount. Magicka recovery is gonna be yeah, actually I did it just now. It's 3.6k after you proc your leech proc. Without leech proc is 2k. Stamina recovery is quite low, 700. Yeah, physical resistance you can see is extremely high if you are sitting in our AoE. And just remember, this is not your final resistance because we are having major what do you call that? Major protection. So yeah, with major protection you'll be extremely tanky. That's what I like about the build. Our spell penetration on our front bar is it's close to 10k, 9.5k. This is a good amount. This is what you want to reach. And our crit resistance is extremely high as well, 2.7k. So overall, really solid stats. Now I'll go through the poisons and potion really quickly. We are using mainly tri-stat potion. Sometimes I'll use invincible potion, and sometimes I'll use, yeah, it's not here. Sometimes I'll use a detect potion that gives a weapon spell damage. That's just against Nightblades. I'll use detect potion sometimes. They are really pesky, Nightblades. Won't be using any poisons. Actually I'm using the wrong foot. For this build, I need to mention, if you're using the innate build, you want to use Clockwork Citrus Fillet. So actually our stats is slightly higher than I mentioned just now. It's yeah, Magicka recovery is more or less the same, I think. It's just a little bit, tiny bit higher, is 2060. It's a bit higher, and then our health is tiny bit higher with the Clockwork Citrus instead of Witch Mother, but it's just a small difference. So I think you can use Witch Mother if you are not rich, but if you got the money, just go for Clockwork. You get that slight amount of health, and the Magicka recovery is the same, but health and your max stamina is going to be slightly higher. And as for the Mundus stones, there are two options. You can go spell damage, so because spell damage is really nice since you have major and minor sorcery, so you get really high spell damage compared to other Magicka classes. Or you could go for Steed Mundus stone, so you get a 10% increase movement speed, which is going to help a lot while you are jabbing people, because when you're jabbing people, usually people can just get out from your jabs easily, so that is the biggest problem. I'm a Vampire stage 4, like I mentioned earlier, Clockwork, Citrus, and yeah, I think that's about it for the poisons and potion. The race, you can use any Magicka race will do. I think Argonian is really nice as well, Breton is decent, High Elf, all these races are really good. Okay, now to the skills. Skills we have on the front bar: Degeneration, Shock Reach, Puncturing Sweeps, Vampire's Bane, Purifying Light, Crescent Sweep, Channel Focus, Extended Ritual, Honor of the Dead, Unstable Core. The main reason why I changed from Total Dark to Unstable Core is because nowadays people understand how the skill works, so people actually break free instantly. That's why I feel like the damage from Unstable Core is better, because even after they break free, the damage is still applied to them unless they cleanse it. So that's really good. And against Nightblades, after 6 seconds it will proc as well, so you can sometimes once in a while can break their cloak. It depends on the situation. If you're fighting bad players, Total Dark is definitely better because it will heal you so much, especially in non-CP campaign. But in CP campaign, I think Unstable Core is my way to go. I'll show you the combo later, how you use it to maximize the damage. And but I'll just go through the skills now. Elusive Miss, just to deroot yourself. This skill is just for you to get away from snares and roots. And you have Spell Wall as my defensive ultimate. The options you can change are, maybe you can drop Degeneration and you could run something like Elemental Drain, or if you don't want to use Unstable Core or Total Dark, you can use something like Elemental Blockade on the front bar and then you put your Degeneration on the back bar. That could work as well. So Elemental Drain could work, and Elemental Blockade could work as well. These two skills are pretty good. Or if you want more AoE damage, you can always use where is it? Solar Barrage, or if you want to debuff, you can use Dark Flare. Dark Flare is decent as well. So those are the skills I would change. I wouldn't take away Shock Reach because we are using Master Staffs, so Shock Reach is really important. Okay, my preferred ultimate, you can use Stormbreaker or Crescent Sweep. I prefer Crescent Sweep because it hits harder on the first target, so it can kill off people better, and it has a better dot damage because you have Burning Light. Burning Light is a really powerful skill, really powerful passive, really underrated on Templar and Magicka Templar. And you can use Blazing Spears as well if you want on your back bar, but I don't use it when I'm soloing. I'll use it in a group when I'm playing with a friend. Then this could be a really nice dot damage, and yeah, could proc Burning Light and give your friend resources, so it will be a really good skill. Yeah, so those are the skills, nothing special. So what I want to show you is yeah, like if you begin a fight with a guy, obviously you want to apply your two buffs first, your major and your minor sorcery, so you get your crit buff as well, your major prophecy as well with these two buffs. And then after that you go to your back bar, you put this on them, the Total Dark on them, you put this, and then you stun them maybe into ultimate, and then you start jabbing, or you ultimate into stun. And then the most important thing is, because this skill is 6 seconds, so if you apply this skill, after that you apply Purifying Light. Purifying Light is 6 seconds as well, so this will proc, and then your Purifying Light will proc as well, so it will amp up the damage slightly. That's why it's pretty good. It's like a Unstable Core is like a shitty what do you call that? A shitty curse. The damage is definitely lower than curse, but then it's good because people you can disrupt people's combo, because if they are having this on them and they are attacking you, they'll take a lot of damage. That's why this is a really unique skill. The only downside is it costs quite a lot, 3.2k Magicka on a light armor build with cost reduction glyphs as well, so it's a bit costly. So I'll show you again. You put down your ground buff like usual. You buff up yourself with these two skills, with these two dots. And then you go to your back bar, you put this, and then you go into Purifying Light, and then maybe you can stun them, and then jab, or if you have your ultimate, you can just do this again. I'll show you again. Put this on the back bar, Purifying, you can ultimate quickly into stun, and then you can just jab. Animation cancelled my stun, so it didn't really show. Then you jab, and then everything will burst together, because you can see here this is 6 seconds. If you put this out, after 6 seconds, you just wait. The first one will proc, and then it will proc again. So it will amp up the damage of your Purifying Light. So that's really important. Make sure you know you have your dots on your enemy, and then you know the what skill to use first. Okay, yeah, that's about it actually. There's nothing special about this build. It's just a really simple Templar build. I'll show you my CP now. 11 Siphoner, 66 Warlord, 75 Arcanist, 7 Tenacity, 45 Tumbling, 66 Shadow Ward, 37 Bless, 51 Elfborn, 49 Elemental Expert, 19 Spell Erosion, 13 Shattering Blows, 61 Master at Arms, 40 Thermochurch, 66 Ironclad, 37 Resistance, 10 Light Armor Focus because I'm a Breton, so I have extremely high spell resistance already. That's why I need some physical resistance. And I'm using light armor as well, so there's even higher spell resistance. 28 Thick Skin, 49 Hardy, 37 Elemental Defender. Like again, you want more points into Hardy. As a light armor build, 6 Elemental Defender, 37 Quick Recovery. So that's about it for the CP. After I compile this video, I'm gonna edit my gameplay video. I already have the clips ready. I went and played Templar for 1 or 2 days, got some decent clips, I guess. Not the best, not the worst. You know, Magicka Templar is not the best 1vx class anyways. It's one of the worst actually, but I did what I could on this build. I'll show it in the gameplay video in a few days, and make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you throw this video a like. That will be extremely appreciated. And yeah, if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the video. Bye bye.